And these are some activity questions. You think about it, what could be the answer? So are the solution of our I of z and v of z completely independent? Are they related in any way? That is the first question. So what is the significance of complex constant gamma? What does it tell us? That is the second question. And now you said earlier that characteristics impedance is Z naught is a complex value. But I recall engineers referring to the transmission line as simply 50 ohms line or 300 ohms line. But these are the real values. Or they not referring to characteristics impedance, is it not? These are some practical questions. So you think about what could be the answer. Probably you can put it in the chat, like q1, q2, q3. You can put the whatever you know, you can put it in the chat. So we will see one by one what is that. And I'll give some problems, and as last time I gave one problem, and you can also discuss me about the results. So probably I think your listening mode, and probably may or may not have the pen. So here they are related to Ohm's law. Differential equations are coupled. Okay, can you revise the starting part, since most of us missed the starting classes and we are attending now? Okay, okay, fine. I'll do that whenever we are seeing that thing. But is that equation is clear? Whatever I told, for example, these equations. If not, this equation, if it is not, again some doubts are there. Probably I can. Probably no, I can give that some explanations about that. And here from this starting point we are going to see the problems, but I'll tell you why these equations, probably why it is coming basically for a transmission line, and how we can use this for solving some practical problems. Okay, so this V and I, basically the voltage and current. What is the voltage and current for a given transmission line? With respect to Z, Z is nothing but what? It is probably can you, I think I don't have writing options. Probably I'll use that um, paint. So here, when I take the transmission line, I may have two wires like this. It might not look like a wire. Maybe I'll take this line. Okay. So this is my two wire line. Okay, there is a nice line, two wires. It is transmitting a power, so that what we use it for a transmission lines. Okay, the lines which is used to transmit the power, RF power. So power, in the sense, indirectly it is just voltage and current. V into I is power. Okay, so normally RF power, whatever transmission, and you can equivalently you can think about coaxial cable which is connected from DTH antenna to the setup box. And probably there is oscilloscopes to the measuring device or the circuits. And probably there is satellite. I think probably I can show that because it's online class. Probably I could have shown some of the things. Let us see. Aircraft systems, there are some transmission lines, cables. Probably if I have a pictures I will show that. Let us see. Probably, let us see. These are typical, probably these are the connectors. Okay, I not sure whether you have seen that some of the connectors, these are the RF connectors, and also the cables, probably, see, you can see that cables here. This is a normal, typical, I think, how many of you have seen that olden cable TVs, right? Probably you might have not, some of you are not born, I think, probably, maybe kids. So that time we had some kind of cables which will be used to, connect, transmit the signal, like which is received from the satellite. We have a big dish antenna, and it will receive the signal from the satellite. In that, probably that time there are one or two channels, and that channels will be received from the dish antenna, and we have a receiver to receive it, and there is amplifier, all the sections. After that, once it is received, and what we do that, that is operator, cable TV operators will be there. Their job is to distribute the connections through all the nearby homes, whichever homes they want the TV, basically. Okay, the earlier Doordarshan TV, we used only the antennas, the Agued antennas. I think if you remember, maybe your grandparents' home, or if you see that the old homes, they would have used the antenna, Agued antennas. For each home, there is an antenna will be there. Okay, so that antenna, Doordarshan will transmit. They have a big transmitter antenna. So each home will have a receiver antenna. From that, again, you need a cable. So you would have seen these cables. This is a kind of two wires cable which is earlier used. It can only transfer the frequency, probably not more than gigahertz, 1 gigahertz. It will be typically more than 100 megahertz to 800 megahertz, in that range. Okay, this is we call as two wire lines, and this is we call as a coaxial cable. This RG59 is typically used in the now many places. For example, I told, DTH to TV, DTH antenna to TV. All the cables is now this cable, coaxial cable. Okay, this is a two wire cable. This is actually how it is propagating in two wire lines. Okay, the two wire lines, there are electric and magnetic field, how it will propagate. So this we will see it in the waveguides, no more. Again, coaxial cables. This is BNC connector you would have used in the lab, probably. I think not typically in this, but kind of function generator to CRO in the analog circuits lab we would have used it. So this is example, one of the coaxial cable. So why we need this kind of structures? Because the frequency when it gets higher, these two wire lines will create a problem, because it cannot. Because if you see the two wires, the TM modes will propagate, and you can see that between two lines there is electric field, that is a electrical field of blue color, and surrounding of wires will be the magnetic field. So this is way the two wire lines, typically all the transmission lines will work. And when it comes to this, it will have some parasitic capacitance, and all the things whatever we have seen, that the primary constants of RLGC and the impedance, characteristics impedance, and the line, all that section impedance will vary. There is a mismatch problem will happen. So it cannot use it effectively for higher frequencies. This kind of structure means these cables cannot be used for higher frequencies. But when it goes to that these coaxial lines, so these effectively they have used till 1 gigahertz, but 1 gigahertz also a little bit they have started getting to issues. This is of TM modes. Here also the TM modes is possible because the two conductors are there. There is inner and outer conductor. This is a dielectric medium, and so you can see the typical, this is, I've taken the picture from the company, the manufacturing, the data sheet. You can see the different, the models of cables, LL122, LL450, and you can see that D by D is nothing but this diameter. So what is this? D is this diameter, big diameter, the outer conductor diameter. Small d is the inner conductor diameter. That is a d by d. Okay. So that is a ratio. However, they can choose any value, but when you see that frequency comparisons, you can see that. So the earlier cable they can only operate 400, and they further they fine tuned. It can go to 1 giga, then it can go to 2 giga. I think you can see it my screen. Okay, so here 1 gigahertz, this is 2 gigahertz, and 3 giga, 5 giga, 10 giga, and 18 giga. So sorry, I'm just telling about this frequency with respect to the attenuations. Okay, so if the signal is operating at this frequency, the attenuation, how the attenuation will be. Okay, so you can see these cables, for example, LL120, that is a color of green color. Now, if you are operating at 1 gigahertz, so the attenuation is typically very high. But when you go for this LL450, the attenuation is very low. So what did that mean? So this will operate for higher frequency. And when you go for higher and higher frequency, you can see that attenuation is increased drastically. See here that 50 dB attenuations for this cable LL120. Okay, but when you see this pink color LL450, still the attenuation is very less, even though it is operating on 10 gigahertz. And you see that relatively all the cables at very high frequencies giving more attenuations. Okay, so is that clear? It's not about the frequency, it is at each frequency how each cable will performing. Is there is any doubt in that? So I have different cables with the different colors, like LL120 is a green, and this is my orange, LL142. Okay, this is LL235, this is another cable, this is 393 is another cable, and pink is another cable. So if I comparing this all cable performance for different frequency, this is a frequency at 100 feet. 100, after 100 feet, if the frequency is operating on 5 gigahertz, what is the attenuations? Okay, that what this chart is giving to us. And typically, if you compare all the performance of this cable, relatively the pink color is better than green color. Are you agree with me? So the pink color, which is quite better performance. Okay, if you see that comparatively all this histogram chart, this is Y is attenuations. So whichever having a less attenuation is good. If you see this first group, everyone is same, typically same. Okay, D by D everything is typically same. But if you take this 400 megahertz, which is having a lesser value is good, attenuation is less. That is a pink color. If you take a second group, again pink color is better. If you take a third group of 2 gigahertz, higher frequency, still pink is better. And again going for a higher frequency, still pink. So the pink is better till this frequency, 10 gigahertz. But when going to the 18 gigahertz, we are getting a problem. We cannot operate the coaxial cable for very high frequency. So well and good, we could have happy with the coaxial cable. Why we are going for another waveguides or different thing? Any cases? So which one you prefer, green color and pink color? And if you choose one, in case, which one probably why the what stops us to use this coaxial cable for higher frequencies, or what is the pros and cons of coaxial cable at higher frequency? Any idea? So if you compare this cable performance for different frequency ranges, I can easily pick that pink color is outperform all the other models, right? Because the attenuation is quite less compared to others, right? So even though it is attenuation is less, what stops me, or generally what stops us to go with the pink color cable, which is relatively good till 10 gigahertz, but more than 10 gigahertz, every cable will have a problem. What could be the one pro cons or drawback of coaxial cable at higher frequency? Am I clear? More repeaters. Yeah, attenuation is more, so we need more repeaters. Repeater again give a cost, and repeater also should be matched. I've shown the different connectors, no? So each repeater when you add, we are adding a connector have to be matched correctly. Okay, one thing is the common the marketing or the market trend is cost. Okay, the cable which costs LL120 is relatively very cheap than LL450. The same cable, maybe you can check it in any website, the cable which need to be performed at higher frequency, I can show it in the lab. The cable which we use it for 6 gigahertz is really, cost around 3, for a feet, 1 feet. It cost around more than 2000 or 3000. But when you see that the cable which we are using for function generator to the coaxial connector, BNC connectors or coaxial cable, that is relatively not more than 50 rupees. Okay, so these is the things will happen when going for a higher frequency. The quality of cables, the construction is totally getting delicate for a higher frequency, so it added up more cost. Okay. So that is a reason the cost is the issue. Even though coaxial cable performs, for higher and higher frequency, we cannot afford to have very longer length cables because the cost will be very high. Okay, so we need to find out some other mechanism. That's why we are going for a waveguides. Okay, the waveguide in the sense here. I'm just talking generally because if you ask me that what is that, you can see this. You can see that very nice cable. These are the different constructions. It's normal. This is for in the aircraft. When you see that there is one dielectric, and after that there is a protection, and there is inner conductor. You can see that how many conductors here. There are sometimes we need use that more than 2-3 conductors to make it more secured or less attenuations. Okay, so you can see that these are the different construction of the cables which is used in the avionics, one of the thing. So this is typically the waveguides, what I try to say. Either we can use the 2-wire or dielectric coaxial cable, or I can use these waveguides. No, you can see this coaxial line waveguides, and this is a round waveguides and rectangular waveguides. These are the metal construction. So with these also I can send the signal. So what I do when I going for a higher and higher frequency, I will try to use this kind of waveguides so that my cost will reduce comparatively the coaxial cable at higher frequency, and also I can send higher power. That is one more important in the waveguide, one more advantage in the waveguide compared to the coaxial or coaxial cables or 2-wire lines. Okay, and also I have a microstrip lines and coplanar waveguides which is can be printed on the high frequency circuits, so that this structure will be used for a printed boards, RF circuits, higher frequency circuits or MMIC, monolithic microwave integrated circuits. We'll use these microstrips or coplanar waveguide structure. So in general, so these are the cables. You can see this also. If the frequency is increased, the attenuation start increasing. Comparative everything, this LL450 is better. That what it shows this graph also. Okay. So why I'm saying this, starting from this. Okay. So when you see this any cables, I have to find out the power for particular distance. I told you there is 100 feet distance, how much attenuation is happening. So this is critical now. The distance is critical because if you have 100 feet, the attenuation is particular value. If you have added 200, so 2 times of attenuation. So what I'm going to get. So each distance increase in the distance, there is attenuation. So I have to be more careful about how much voltage or current I'm sending, how much is I'm getting after some distance. So that will give me how much power if I send, how much power is reached, how much attenuation has happened. So how to reduce the attenuations. Okay, to that I have to evaluate. So what is that happening in the line basically? Okay, that is when we analyze this, I'll get this equation. So any point of the transmission line, if it wants to find out voltage and current, that means that Z is now the distance, 100 feet or 200 feet or 100 meters, 200 kilometers. You can imagine it. The length can be as small as from function generator to the circuits, or else it can be one country to another country. Yeah, it is there. Practically, it is there. You can see that internet how it is connected. Some of the things what we say they say is the backbone or fiber or the cop. They will say a particular name for that, but usually how they connect it, all the around the globe, the internet. There are wired cables or laid in the undersea which will go from one continent to other continent. You can imagine how much distance it is basically. Okay, so that Z can be small as like 10 meters or small as like 100 or 20 centimeter, can be as long as 2 kilometers, 1,000, 2,000, sometimes more than that. Okay, so when we are doing this kind of no, connecting this one point to another point, we have to carefully study how what is the quality of cable, how much attenuation is going to happen. So everything I can analyze it once I know the how much voltage current I'm sending power and how much I'm receiving at a certain distance. What is that happening inside the cable? So that I have to analyze it. That what this equation tells us. Any point of the voltage in the cable, I can relatively find out by using the exponential superposition of e power plus and minus. What is this true value? One is negative, decaying exponential. So with respect to forward directions from the sending point to the receiving point, the voltage is going to decay with respect to the distance. That is obvious, right? So because and I told the 100 feet and 200 feet, if the Z is increasing, definitely the sending voltage will be reduced. And I'm added with one more peculiar constant, is gamma. So gamma is propagation constant, which tells me how much the wave will go for attenuation. That is alpha plus j beta complex constant, that is called phase constant. How much phase will undergoes changes. The wave can go two changes. One is the amplitude change, that is attenuation, and another is a phase change, that is a phase constant. So when I add it together, alpha plus j beta, I'm getting a gamma, that is a propagation constant. Okay, so that is going to influence my the wave which is going in the forward direction. So V naught plus is a boundary constant, means that what it is, if I have particularly for 100 meters, if I'm measuring it, this V naught plus is nothing but the constant based on that how much is the sending voltage. Okay, let us take a relative realistic value. Let us take it sending voltage, the distance itself I'm measuring. So what is that? Is that the time? That is simply Z equal to 0, right? So V naught plus the sending it, what is the voltage? That is V naught plus. Okay, that's simple as like it's a boundary problem. If I'm starting from the sending point of view, it becomes simply V naught plus and plus V naught minus. Okay, so what is this V naught minus is? I'll come to that. One is V naught plus e power minus gamma z, that is a sending end, that is a forward wave which is propagating from sending point to the receiving point. Exactly at sending point, if you measure the z equal to 0, so V naught plus and V naught minus. So at sending point, you'll get V naught plus and V naught minus. Let us take very realistically, the once you are sending, like I told the classic one of example, the dam water, when you release that, it is going to the channel and it going to the irrigation field. So if there is any block in the canal, so it will start reflecting back, right? The same principle here. If any waves is propagating and if it is blocked and if it is reflecting back, there will be some V naught minus. So if it is very idealistic characteristics, if it is no reflection, so V naught minus is 0. Simple like 0, you can just ignore that. Okay, so only it will be forward waves. V naught plus e power minus gamma z. So Z is distance. With respect to distance, it will decay. Gamma is constant. It doesn't depend on Z. Okay, that's what I told when I starting, that gamma is purely constant with respect to the unit distance, and it's only depends on RLGC and operating frequency. Okay, so operating frequency increase, gamma will definitely increase. If RLG is increasing, again gamma will be increasing. So gamma is again the line constant. Okay, for a given line, gamma is a constant. That what we'll do it in the problems also. We'll try to find out gamma. Okay, from that gamma, we'll try to can find out the voltage, how much voltage is sending end and receiving end, we can calculate. Okay, that is one kind of problems. So sending end voltage will be given. We can find out what is the voltage after some 100 meters, 200 meters, like that. Okay, so that is the gamma. That is the first equation. So here, what is the second part? If any reflection happens due to the impedance mismatch, that is a stone in the water. So here, impedance mismatch. If it has happened, we'll start getting V naught minus. So at any point of transmission line now, the voltage is basically superposition of forward waves and reflected waves. Okay, that is what the first equation tells us. Okay, the second equation, same analogy, v by z equals to, it's like a v by r is nothing but current. So I naught plus e power minus comma z. Okay, v naught minus, because y is the negative symbol, the current will be opposite. Okay, that is the reason v naught minus by z naught e power comma z. Okay, the same voltage and current, same analogy. So this is a very founding equation for transmission line. Now we can slowly go into little more details. If I connect this transmission line with some load ZL, what is my input impedance? Okay, so why to know that input impedance? The input impedance is generally, what is the impedance if I look transmission line? What is that impedance? The impedance I look in the transmission line, I can look it at the sending point or at the middle of the lines or after middle of some points. So the impedance I can look can be from vary from sending end to receiving end. I can look the impedance anywhere. Okay, so that is a second important thing in the transmission line. I have to know the impedance of particular point where I'm looking the transmission line. Okay, so why should I know that input impedance is? It's something like the same. Let us take one analogy, the same analogy. So releasing water in the dam, it is going to the canal and it's going to the irrigation center. I know there is some block, there is waves are reflecting, so there is sending and receiving and overlapping, and so what is the superposition of this? That is my voltage for particular point and current on particular point. So I'm curious, like, where actually the reflections are more, where the reflections are less. Okay, so I'm starting from the dam, the exit point, the water will be very flowing very higher force, right? So I'm checking that, okay, where is my how much uh, the the reflections are there. So the same way, when I go there and some point of time, no, let us take that it's not like a sea wave, no, the water stored in the vessels without any disturbance. It is like a pure what you say, the straight the threshold, no, the straight line you will get in the surface, right? There is no up and down. You just curious to see that where you are getting the straight line, where it is getting higher and lower. So our idea is to finding out the impedances wherein it is having a plane, where it is having a peak and valley, that is like a waves characteristics. So whenever there is a wave characteristics, I'll try to make it to straight line. Okay, so the looking the impedance in the transmission line is to find out where is the impedance mismatch is there, and try to make that impedance mismatch to correct it to the correct impedance. What is the current impedance? That is a characteristics impedance. Okay, is that not? So the characteristic impedance is again another constant. It is independent of the position, no, distance. Again, it is only depends on RLGC and operating frequency. This is standard in the universally standard 50 ohms. We normally use it. So we'll try to see that in the throughout the circuits, what is that impedance, and I'll just check with that. What is my impedance? I'll just check it on the sending end. So again, I'm 50 ohms only, I will match it, no, at sending end. So let us take this 50 ohms. I'm slowly moving into the middle of the section, and I'm seeing that the impedance is not 50. It is probably higher. Let us take higher value, 70. Okay, 70 ohms. So what I have to do? The impedance is now not equals to 50. That's not equal to, is it not? So then what I have to do? I have to convert the 70 to 50. So there is an impedance transformation circuit. I need to use it to make it 70 to 50. The same way, first thing is I'll find out what is the input impedance. After that, I'll try to match that impedance to the characteristics impedance. Okay, so that is the important things we have to do. First thing is finding the voltage and current in the transmission line for any point of Z, and finding out next is what is the input impedance, and try to see that that impedance is equals to the characteristics impedance. So if not, we are using the impedance matching circuits to make it. We cannot leave it as it is. Okay, if the impedance is not matched, we'll get a problem, because however power you are sending, for example, RV2, our EC department store, let us take the admin office, I'm sending more power. For example, let us take 100 kilowatts power. It's very high. It's typically used in the mobile towers. Okay, before reaching the admin I don't get any power. We just wonder like what happens actually. I'm sending, so 100 kilowatts is not coming, let us send to 200 kilowatts, still it won't be. The reason is the cable impedance have to be matched throughout the admin. That's why we use the coaxial cable, so that impedance will be throughout, it will be maintained as is not. That will be, again you can see it in the little more in the practical aspects of it, but generally in the coaxial cable we'll try to make the impedance uniform throughout the receiving end. That's the reason it able to transfer the power without any loss. Okay, that is actually the what happens inside. So simple two wire lines doesn't work basically. Okay, so this is one of the things we have to keep it in mind for a input impedance. And there is another 10 minutes. I'll what is the answer for this? Or the solution of IF is that completely independent? It's related with V by I is characteristics impedance. Okay, and what is the significance of complex constant? It is a propagation, describe the propagation of each wave along the transmission, how it is propagating. So this question is the 50 ohms 300 ohms lines we usually refer, that is the characteristics impedance of the line. So what does that mean? We choose always the standard values or real impedance, because the real impedance, not a complex number, the real value is only have no imaginary part, only the real value of the impedance will have nearly no loss. Okay, there is a lossless. I think you can see it here. I just move this to here. Not able to move. Okay, you can see that. Okay, so these reals are in fact some standard Z naught values. They are real values because the transmission line is lossless, because it's nearly closely it is lossless. Okay, loss C will be less if you choose that real Z naught. Okay, so this is what we have done. This is all the explanations what I told this, decaying propagations, and probably I'll just put it in the presenter mode. You can see this, these are the beta I told already, 2 by lambda. How we get this? This is a phase constant plus alpha, I'll get a gamma propagation constant, right? This is all similar the things what I told. And the phase constant, this is a beta, and Vp phase velocity I can write W by beta, and phase velocity also can be written as lambda f. It's similar like the speed of the light. This is lossless line. If I take r equal to j equal to 0, I'll get all the alpha, beta reduced to 0, alpha is 0, and propagation constant beta only I'll have, that is omega LC. Okay. Gamma is alpha plus j beta. If it is a lossless line, r equal to j equal to 0. So this alpha is 0. Generally, the real part is 0. Only have a complex imaginary part in the propagation constant. So that is a beta omega root of LC. If you substitute that, let us keep it this beta. And what is the characteristics impedance? I'll get a root of LC. That's why I told this is a complex number. It's not a complex number. It's basically a real number. Okay, Z naught is a real number, means it is close to lossless. Okay, this is the V of Z and lossless line. And this is one question. You can answer it probably. You can note it down if you have papers. Transmission line operating at 500 megahertz. Z naught 50 ohms. Alpha is 0.04 Napier. Attenuation alpha is unit is Napier. I'll tell you later what is that. But for doing this problem, I can just substitute the value how to get it. Okay, and beta is 1.5. And find the line parameters or else. Okay. I'll just give it to you for to do that. Probably maybe later you can do that. I can note down the problem. How to do this problem? I know what is alpha and beta and Z naught and frequency, right? Let us do some way. Let us see that this is my alpha. I know what is the beta. Okay, and what else? I know what is the characteristics impedance, and I know the frequency. I think only 4 I know, I guess. This is correct. I know what is alpha, beta, Z naught, and frequency, right? So what is asked is find out RL L or comma L. You can even find out C and G, but in the given question R and L is asked. Okay, how to do that? I know alpha and beta. Okay, I want R and L. So how to do that? Can I write it in the? I have to find out the equation which is relating these two. So let us write some equations. Let us find out, pick the equation which is related to this. Gamma equals to alpha plus beta. Okay, this can be, gamma also can be written as root of r plus j omega l g plus j omega c. Okay, it looks little complicated, no? This is alpha plus g beta, I know. Left side I know. Right side I have to find out R and L, but I don't know this G, C. Okay, and omega I know, but I have to find out what R, L, right side. And GC also I don't know. Omega only I know. This side I know. It become a little complex, no? It looks complex. So how to solve it? Any idea? Anything is coming into your mind? This is my equation. Gamma equal to alpha plus beta. This is my propagation constant. I will think that it's not only I have, I should or someone should tell. We'll just think about it. Let us, whatever comes, let us come to our mind. It will open other way of thinking also, right? It's not giving problem and doing one way to solve it. So need not to be, right? This is my propagation constant, alpha plus j beta. Alpha is r plus j omega l and g plus j omega c in square root. So it looks complicated. Can I write some more relations? Like how I've written is gamma. Instead of writing root of r plus j omega and g plus j omega c, can I write z into y? So z is nothing but shorter form of r plus j omega l. Okay. Y is nothing but shorter form of g plus j omega c. And in conceptually also it is this. It is telling the same. R plus is in the series, no? This is my inductance. This is my R plus j omega L, right? In the series, right? In the lumped model of transmission line, it's a series impedance. So it is series basically. So G plus j omega C means what? It is a parallel, right? This is my G conductance and this is my capacitor. Capacitor symbol is this. Okay. This is G plus j omega C. Okay, this is a parallel, so I can say it's admittance y. So let us take this equation. This is 1 and 2. What is z naught? With the same analogy, I can write z by y. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply these two, left and left and right and right. So what I will get, gamma z naught equals to z. Is that clear? Because y and root y and 1 by root y will be cancelled out. So gamma z naught I will get z. The same thing, whatever the equation I know, the same way, uh, I am going to just write it in the different form. That's it. Okay, so not complicated. So this is gamma. I can write it like alpha plus j beta into z naught. I think in the problem is given is 80 ohms equals to r plus j omega. I should find this. I should find this. What to do then? Alpha is substitute 0.04 plus j, beta is 1.5 radian per meter. This is my 80 equals to r plus what is omega? 2 pi f. 2 pi f. What is the frequency? Frequency is 500 mega. 500 into 10 to the power of 6. So write that closely. It is 10 to the power of 8. Again here 110 is there. 10 to the power of 9, no? This is 7, 8. Again 5 into 2, 110 will come. 9. Okay, 10 to the power of 9 pi, I'll write 3.14 into L. So when you solve this, now it is easy. You just multiply this, the left side, write in the complex form x a plus ib. This is your right c plus id. Okay, you when you do this, you'll get one complex. No, again you'll get a complex number, right? This is r as it is. This is l. So equate this real and real part in the left side. We'll get r. Equate the imaginary part. You'll get l. Okay, this is the value of r and l. So you're supposed to get, I think I've saved somewhere, probably see that. Okay, you check the answer. I think I opened somewhere, probably some tests. I think the solution, don't know. Not this, not this, not this. I think 75, this same problem, there is small values changes are there. However, I think probably, okay, the answer should be close to this 0.04, 1.5. I gave 80 ohms, here 75 ohms is there. Probably you'll get a close to this answer. Probably this answer. Okay. Sorry. Here there is a mistake. Probably not this question. I've given a wrongly. This is actually I put a lossless here, so it should be a not this. Okay, now you find out the answer. Okay. So all are similar problems only. You find out the answer. I think now is that clear? R is 3.2 ohms and L is 0.038 microhenry. Okay, okay, good. So similarly, find out G and C. So that will be a standard question, standard answers, right? So this way you can keep on doing many kind of these problems because you know now what are the equations, governing equations for this. Okay. So with that, I'll stop and I hope you got some idea. And if there are one more problems also, maybe you can note down. Um, Probably I'll just show that you know you can try this problem also. I think I have somewhere. This one, whatever I shown now, right? That is another problem. This also try that, but it's very uh, relatively simple because I already told that this is a lossless. Okay, lossless means R and G equal to 0. Only thing is you have to find out is L and C. Okay, these problems, similar problems you can also try. Okay, so anyway, if you do that first problem, this is should be a easier enough. You can do other thing also. Okay, so with that, I'll stop and we will see in the next class, probably in the next week. And if any questions, you can ask me. And regarding the recorded video, yeah, I'm just that taking a time because that the length of the video. However, I'll just put it as it is by this weekend, and you can just see that the concept. I may be repeating one or two classes, but the reason is to do is whoever missed the classes or whoever not able to fully. It's first time it is difficult to sometimes to get understand. So that's why I'm repeating some concepts because that is very that will come throughout that course basically. Not even on this course, it will come in the future higher frequency designs also it will come. Okay, that's the reason I'm repeating it. So however we'll see it. I will stop this session and we'll see it in the next class and take care. We'll see you then. Bye.